On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, OU football stuff. We talk about Joel Klatt having John Mateer as his number 3 quarterback in college football and how this new Power 4 agreement could affect the Sooners. Then JT Gasso joins us to preview the OU Alabama Super Regional. We recap the Thunder's win over Minnesota in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, and we give you our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast. Rate it 5 stars and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, don't forget to visit our website, okbreakdown.com. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, May 21st, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. How we feeling, Ted Lehman?
Fantastic. Feeling unbelievable.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm usually, my mood can reflect the weather a little bit. We got some good weather right now, man. Hopefully it's been a couple of dicey days around the state. Hopefully everyone all good.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone's good. Weather's good. Thunder are are up 1-0 in the playoffs. So we're cruising right now, man.
We'll get to that. There's a time and place for football guys talking basketball. It comes after we talk about OU football typically. But right. I did want to, one thing, over these next couple weeks, we are trying to get our sponsors finalized for football season. So if you would like to advertise on the podcast, you can either email us at the Oklahoma Breakdown at gmail.com, or you can go to our website and there's a little contact tab and you can just click the sponsor thing, fill out the form, and that'll come to us as well. So if you would like to advertise on the podcast during the summer or during the season, hit us up. We've got a couple open spots for the season, and we would love to have more. Yes, everyone loves ad reads. Everyone loves them.
Of course. That's why everyone tunes in.
Yeah, of course. All right. Do you want to start with quarterback rankings or this kind of interesting Power 4 agreement? Which one do you want to start with?
Let's go quarterback rankings.
Joel Klatt, friend of the show. It's been a long time since we've had Joel on. He's gotten way more popular since the last time we had him on.
Well,
maybe a tough get.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe a tough get at this point, but
he's a busy man.
He put out his top 10 quarterbacks entering the 2025 college football season. And let's just run through the rankings really quick. Number 10, he's got Carson Beck. Number 9, Luke Altmaier. 8, Lenoris Sellers. 7, DJ Lagway. 6, Garrett Nussmeier. 5, Drew Aller. 4, Sam Levitt. 3, John Mateer. 2, Arch Manning. And his number 1 quarterback heading into the college football season is Clemson's Cade Klubnik. Ted, your instant reaction to where Mateer is on this list?
Not shocked, but I mean, there's some good quarterbacks on there. Nussmeier, Sellers, even ahead of Drew Aller, who is great at Penn State. I like it, and I think, Joel Klatt knows what he's looking at. In the sound clip, whenever he was talking about Mateer, he got to cover one of their games. I think maybe it was the bowl game that they played.
It was the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah, and he watched a ton of his film. So I think he's got a real good feeling for him. He played the position, so he knows what he's looking at. I'm sure he's talked to some people that have been around John Mateer as well. So, I mean, I think I guess it's a little bit higher than maybe I would have expected, but I think if things go well and players stay healthy around him, I don't think there's any reason he can't finish the season in a similar spot.
I'm with you. And it's always important to remember that, hey, these are rankings for the 2025 college football season. We're not talking about the 2026 NFL draft here.
Right. Yeah.
Because then a guy like Garrett Nussmeier is probably number one. He's got the size, got the arm that NFL teams are looking for. Like those are two different conversations. But I did, in a weird way, feel a little validated about all the hype we've been giving Mateer after going and watching him out of practice because Joel Klatt knows quarterback play.
Yeah.
He watches a ton of tape. Like the guy puts in a ton of time. He's calling all kinds of teams' games for Fox. And I felt, I won't lie, I felt a little validated for all the love we've given Mateer throughout the spring.
Yeah. And, and here's kind of how I feel about it is I think that, like, when you watch Mateer from last year, I think he was a better quarterback in the second half of the year than he was the first half of the year. I don't know if the production says exactly that or not, but just kind of watching him, his comfort level in the offense, the way he operated, decision making, getting the ball out quick, I think all those things improved. And I think that we are going to get a better version of John Mateer than he was last year. Again, don't know if that equals out in production because it's a different conference, big step up. But as far as Mateer individually, his skill set, the tools that he brings, experience, knowledge of the game, knowledge of the offense, all of that stuff, I think athletically, I think that you are set up at least to have a better version of him heading into the season.
You look at what he did a season ago, he had some good players around him at Washington State. Now he's going to have more talent around him at Oklahoma, but the competition is also going to ramp way up.
Yep.
And this was something that Klatt mentioned, and it's something we've talked about, like the fact that he's not having to learn a new system.
Yeah.
Is so crucial to where there should be nothing but improvement. Remember, last year was his first year starting.
Yeah.
And you build confidence by going out there and playing at a high level. And he started to do that. Now, I get that, some of the best teams they play, like his numbers are not eye-popping in those games. But I just expect him to take another step, and he's got everything you're looking for. He can make all the throws. He's a really athletic dude. I think he's much stronger than people realize, just the way that he's built when you see him up close in person. And he's got all the leadership qualities you're looking for. So when I saw him at number 3 on this list, I was like, man, that seems awfully high. But hey, I don't really know if can you really argue against it?
Well, I think the biggest argument against Mateer is he's going to see a big step up in competition, right? That's probably the one that holds the most water. But he saw a big step up in competition whenever he went up against our defense all spring. And, I expect us to have a strong defense. Are they going to be better than last year? I don't know. But I think, at a minimum, they're going to be a top half of the conference type of defense. And he carved their ass up all spring. So, the step up in competition so far, he's handled that well. And it's not like Venables makes it easy on the offense in the spring. He throws a ton of stuff at the offense, and Mateer handled it all really well.
When I was looking at the list, I was just kind of looking at like, okay, Mateer at 3, maybe that's high. And then I kind of went through the exercise and I came to the conclusion, like, I think several of these places, like the guys that are on this list, if you gave these coaches truth serum, they would trade their guy for Mateer.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Now, probably not like you, but I think Miami would rather have John Mateer than Carson Beck. I think Illinois would rather have John Mateer than Luke Altmaier. Lenore Sellers, probably not. That's probably one where Beamer's keeping his guy. They're Florida, same thing. Probably going to roll with Lagway, even with the shoulder issue.
Well, it may be even better to flip the exercise. Who would you trade Mateer for on this list?
Not Klubnik,
Nope.
not Arch,
Nope.
not Levitt. Levitt's a very similar player. I like Levitt a lot, but I wouldn't trade him.
He's not left-handed, is he, Levitt?
No.
Okay.
Aller, no, give me because he doesn't have the mobility. Now, if you're building an NFL team, maybe that's a different conversation.
Right.
But I like Mateer's mobility and what that brings to the running game and to kind of just making plays out of nothing. I really like Nussmeier. We'd have to have a meeting on Nussmeier.
Yeah.
We'd have to have a meeting. I can't unsee what he did to us in that second half after we thought he was done for the rest of the season. Came out and basically looked like John Elway out there.
It's kind of like Nussmeier to me is like the conversation there is what direction do you want to take your offense? Nussmeier, like he's a passing playmaker. I think Mateer, like his big, like I'm not talking about, just your standard plays, throws from the pocket, but creating explosive plays and stuff. I think a lot of Nussmeier's are going to be done through the air, and a lot of Mateer's wow moments are probably going to be done on the ground. And it's kind of a taste thing there between those two. But Nussmeier, and the negative against him, and he got a lot better, is he's a gunslinger type of guy, and he can throw you into some trouble at times, but he's still tremendous upside.
I think you'd have to have a meeting about Arch, Nussmeier, Lagway, and Sellers.
Yeah.
I think that's one where it's like, all right, guys, let's talk through this. In this scenario, in this hypothetical, are we trading? Do we get some draft picks?
Right.
How does this work?
Can you sweeten it a little bit for us?
Is there a swap involved somehow? I don't know. But I do think, when you look at the list, I think half of the list, you're not even, like, it's not even a conversation. You want Mateer over those guys.
And that's pretty telling.
Yeah, which is probably why Klatt's got him in his top three.
Let me ask you this, though. I find it a little strange that, I mean, for most of the list that people have put together like this, it's been pretty unanimous from what I've seen that Klubnik is number one. I don't know. That seems kind of surprising to me a little bit. His numbers from last year are really strong. I mean, if you want to talk about a step up in competition, you go and look at their schedule compared to like what Mateer's going to play and some of these SEC quarterbacks. It's not even close.
Yeah. But that's all part of it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what Klubnik's going to see in the ACC? It's not going to be at the same level as what Mateer's going to see in the SEC, but he did it. I think it's pretty unanimous that the feeling is Klubnik took a big step a year ago.
Yeah,
as a player.
And I agree with that. And you could see it by how well Clemson performed despite a lot of people thinking they weren't going to be any good. They ended up being a really solid team. And I think he's a really solid all-around quarterback. But I think there's some other guys on this list that are capable of much bigger wow moments.
Like the upside of Lagway and Sellers. Yeah. And then you just strictly as a passer, like Nussmeier starts that conversation on this list for me. So, but yeah, I think any way you kind of look at it, there may be a point in time next season where we can talk ourselves into John Mateer being the best quarterback in college football.
Let's hope that takes place. I think I think the tools are there. We have to have some help. Um, I think a big piece of it is, what do we get from Giovanni Gibson? When is he back? What does he look like when he's back? Does he pick up right where he left off from what we saw in spring? I mean, because if you start to say Mateer is, top 5 quarterback in college football, if they're healthy, Giovanni Gibson and Deion Burks got to be a pretty high receiver duo in the country as well. And that is a lot of there's some guesswork there projecting, because we still haven't seen it from Burks health wise, and Giovanni Gibson's wearing a boot right now, but there's a lot of potential there to help out Mateer.
No doubt. One thing Klatt did say that I thought was interesting was he thinks people are going to have a similar reaction to Mateer early in the season after getting to see him play that they had to Cam Ward last season in Miami, where they were like, wait, this guy is awesome.
Yeah.
Because they did. I don't think a ton of people are out there watching Washington State.
Yeah, it's a unique situation where I think, like, the way last year ended and what his numbers were, people were like, oh, how about that? Washington State's got a dude. And then he transfers to Oklahoma, which brought him a lot of notoriety. And because of the platform that Oklahoma gives you, I think there's a pretty much everyone is familiar now with his name, but I still don't think a whole lot of people have seen him play, you know?
I'm with you. It's, as I looked at the list and Mateer was at number 3, I was like, Mateer being in the top 3, I feel like that only gives OU fans, I feel like you don't have much fuel to be mad about Arch Manning being ahead of him because he's at
Right.
number 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. It'd be one thing if
It's like Arch has barely played, but
it's a weird position. Like, what do we do here? We're used to getting picked well below what we think we are capable of. So at 3, it's hard to really dice that up a whole lot. It's almost like, come on, man, you're supposed to leave him out of the top 10 so we can complain for a couple of weeks.
that would have been if they really wanted us to have great content. I mean, come on, guys.
Bring Klatt on and, put him through the ringer.
Explain yourself. The last thing on this list, though, is I kind of think we all expect the defense to be at a similar level in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got, let's just go. They should be solid defensively, right?
Yep. They should be solid with the chance of being really good.
If you have a solid defense that has a chance of being really good, and you have a top 5 quarterback, you should be a pretty good football team. You should be in the mix, Ted.
Is the kicker good?
What about the punter? Can the punter not punt it through the end zone? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have, you're going to have a solid defense, and now you've got this difference maker at quarterback. I know there's still quite a bit of uncertainty, some of the other pieces on offense, but you just have those two things, top 5 quarterback in college football and a good defense. You should be in the mix. Like, this list, in a weird way, and I know what OU's schedule is in 2025. I completely understand. We got the toughest schedule in the country. I got it. But it made me go, maybe my expectations should be a little higher. I always have high expectations for this program. It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But solid defense and a top 5 quarterback in all of college football, like, I know 2 of the last 3 seasons haven't gone well, but maybe all of our expectations should be higher in a weird way. I don't know, man. It just made me think about it.
Our conditioning has changed. If you erase the last couple of years and we're coming into the season with the assets that you just listed, typically we would be in like championship mode, but we're stuck in still, I don't know, 7, 8 wins, maybe not. We're still stuck in a weird spot, which you totally understand. Here's the thing though, and I'll ask you if you agree. I think you do, but this is without question, it's not even close, the best formula for a good football team that Brent Venables has had since he's been here. Both sides of the ball, coaching staff, all things included. Does our roster continue? Does it need to continue to get bigger, faster, stronger, deeper? Yes. But as far as like, I mean, I think I said this last week. If you could guarantee me that, you know, our best 22 are going to be available and ready to play for at least the vast majority of the season, you have to have high expectations for this football team.
I think that's fair. I'm starting to recalibrate some things over here, man.
Well, let me ask you this. When it comes to the trade, would you trade John Mateer, what you know about him today, for peak Dylan Gabriel?
No.
I agree.
And that's no shot at DG. I love DG. But I think Mateer's he brings more physically. Now, the one thing you knew about Dylan Gabriel was like the processing was quick and good.
Processing, experience, game management, ball security.
Just like that calm demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he had some fire to him, don't get me wrong, but I think Mateer's a better runner and has a better arm.
Yeah.
Is he as accurate as DG? I'm not quite sure. We're about to find out when he's playing a high level of competition. What we've seen out of practice, like, yeah, ball placement's good, decision making. Now, one thing I do like about Mateer, and I thought that Dylan Gabriel struggled with this at times, I like a quarterback that takes some chances down the field, man. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think Mateer's got a little more of that in him, a little more. I've always labeled it as like arm arrogance, and it's not a bad thing. I like guys that think they can make every throw in the tightest of tight windows. Like I just do. Now, I don't like when guys make stupid decisions and put the ball in places where the coverage doesn't dictate the ball to go. Don't like that. But Mateer's a guy that I feel like there are moments throughout games where he goes, hey, if I got a chance to push it down the field, I'm going to push it down the field. Even if the guy's covered, like he's going to give his guy a chance. And
yep.
I like that. And I thought that Dylan Gabriel shied away from some of that in his OU career. Maybe I don't know if that's
no,
I feel like that's fair.
I agree. And, you know, there's a difference between, you know, some arrogance there and being stupid. And I think
maybe arm confidence is a better term. Arm arrogance has like a negative connotation. But it
sounds better.
Alliteration's the best, dude. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But I just like a guy that when you turn on the tape, you go, oh, there's not much there. And that guy is ripping it going, yes, there is.
And here's the critical factor. What did we see with Gabriel and our offense? And we saw it for sure last year. Everyone's coming right to the line of scrimmage on us, right? And as a defensive coordinator, when you're game planning, you start to worry about a guy like Mateer where you know he's going to push the ball down there and he's going to challenge your guys. And, you know, we'll see. Like, I loved how much he did that in spring. The question is, how much of that was Mateer and how much of it was his trust in Giovanni Gibson made him right a bunch throughout the spring. So, like, is that always how he's going to be, or is that you have to develop trust with your guys that are going to be going to get the ball, but that's why I think it's critical that we get Javonte Gibson back.
I'm with you. I I think it's Mateer is the when you just come to expectations, what I expect from him in the 2025 season, what I expect it to look like. I think it's the highest expectations I've had for an OU quarterback since Baker.
Yeah, that's telling.
No, that's not Kyler. Kyler, like it's got to be Kyler, right? So since Kyler, even Jalen Hurts when he came in, remember there was this uncertainty, like, hey, is this guy going to be able to execute Lincoln Riley's offense? Like, is he going to be able to make all the throws? Now, looking back on it now with what Jalen Hurts has done as an NFL player, you're like, well, that was a silly conversation.
Well, but
But
he just got beat out,
yeah, he
at
just lost
Alabama.
his job at Bama.
Mhm.
So this is like I'm expecting the highest level of quarterback play like going into the season since Kyler Murray. Which
Yeah,
that's a high level of expectation, right? You know what I'm
very
saying?
high, very high, very high.
I'm glad I caught myself. That would have been stupid. Like just forgetting about Kyler Murray.
The other Heisman guy, kind of tucked in
Oh
there.
yeah, the other guy with the statue.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think all of the ingredients are there. Um, and Mateer is when you look at it, he's not lacking anything. He's an incredibly confident player, plays with attitude. He's aggressive. Um, he's got a strong arm. He's decisive. He can athletically, he can create, he can get out of a mess, and he can make you pay on the ground. He's got everything.
This is why I have said and will continue to say Oklahoma's offensive line will determine the ceiling of this football team in 2025.
Yeah.
If you've got a decent run game and you can build off that with a guy as talented as Mateer, if you're protecting him at a high level, the offense should be solid. Is it going to be a record-setting offense like some of these offenses we've had here been, had around here been? I probably not. But if you can run it pretty efficiently and protect Mateer, it should be pretty good. It should be a heck of a lot better than last season's offense, which is not saying much, but there should be a significant improvement on the offensive side of the ball. If the O-line plays even at a solid level, you know what I'm saying?
I agree. The way I feel about it and my kind of expectation, even I already feel better about the offensive line than I did last year. But again, like you said, the bar was set pretty low. But I don't think there is, at least of teams that I know of and that are relevant, there's probably not going to be any other unit in college football that is going to have such a dramatic increase in production than Oklahoma's offense.
And that's factoring in the type of defenses they're going to play.
Yeah.
Which includes Michigan in week 2. That's as we get closer and closer to the season, I'm starting to get more and more excited about that football game and just what it's going to mean for the season. Like you never want to say that one game is going to determine the trajectory of the season, but man, that one feels important.
It does. I think one of the mentality of our football team, like a season like last year does a number on your confidence, man, and it just the trust between offense and defense and all of those things. Like it before we hit the gauntlet of the SEC, it would be very good for this group to be able to puff their chest out a little bit and say, yeah, we're going to be pretty good. And that game's setting up for it. I'm excited like you are. It's one of those where I'm excited about it. I'm confident about it, but it's going to be one of those, okay, it's Michigan week, and all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of doubt come in just because of, they say what you want. They're still going to have a bunch of really good players on that team.
They're going to have a bunch of NFL draft picks on that team.
That's right.
And that's where we're going to find out what this team is made of in week 2.
Yeah.
That's going to be a physical football team. I know that they've lost all kinds of guys to the NFL over the last 2 seasons. They've been recruiting, and I think the argument can be made that they've developed better than anyone in college football, especially at the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be a massive, massive test. But last thing on this, you mentioned the confidence. Dude, I think arguably that's the biggest effect Mateer has had on this group since he's gotten here. Just going out to practice and like the energy and the confidence that guys on offense have compared to what we saw a year ago. I think it's that renewed energy and this newfound confidence. I think it's very closely tied to John Mateer.
Yeah.
And that guy making these guys believe like, hey, guys, we're going to be good because I will not let us not be good.
That's right. He's driving the bus. And, just the way that everyone interacts, he'll come over and cut it up with the defense a little bit. And those guys love it. They engage with him. It's just a totally different feeling. I'm with you.
All right, let's table the Power 4 agreement discussion for Sunday's episode because that was a lot on Joel Klatt's quarterback rankings. We don't want this to be a 2-hour podcast. So let's talk some super regional with our guy, JT Gasso. But first, hitting the highway, remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway. And with the Love's app, you can also save big. How big? 10 or 15 cents big. Save 10 cents per gallon on gas and 15 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app today and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to fire up your cookouts than with Didier Ranch's steak burgers made from 100% premium cuts of steak. These burgers are the real deal. Juicy, flavorful, and packed with that rich, beefy taste that you love. Plus, they're shipped right to your door, so you can spend more time doing what you love and less time shopping. Head over to DidierRanch.com now and use code SOONER for a special discount on your first order. Get ready to taste the best burgers you've ever had. Proudly raised 100% in Oklahoma. Didier Ranch, steak in every bite.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, an Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Vacation season is almost here, and the new Simple Modern Getaway Bag is the perfect companion for every summer adventure. Whether packing for a beach trip, a weekend getaway, or a long road trip, the Getaway Bag's durable rubber sides makes it easy to carry everything you need and just as easy to rinse clean after a day of sand, sun, and fun. It's built to handle it all and go everywhere you want to go this summer. Plus, with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you're helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. It is our pleasure to be joined by the associate head coach for OU softball. JT Gasso is in the house. How we doing, man? How we feeling?
Doing great. We just got done with our morning sessions and feel good, look good, and ready to go.
Take us back through the regional, man. It looks like you guys are starting to really round into postseason form. Had a lot of good play from a bunch of different players. Pitching looked good. The bats were hot. How you guys feeling?
No, I feel good. And that's the one thing is with this team, it's just there's so much newness and like we're really going in just not taking this for granted and just like trying to play our best softball at the right time. So, game plans, we were really, we had a really tough pitching regional. We had some really good arms here. Cal's a really big offensive team. So we knew we had our work cut out for us, but that was a big thing for us is just really staying locked in and staying present and just staying within our bubble and just doing our thing and just being able to compete at the highest level.
This may be a stupid question. I'm just going to point that out up front.
Okay.
As a coach, do you like having the 3 run rule games in the regional? Like, especially as the guy that has a massive hand in the hitting piece of what you guys do as a team. Is that something you like, or is it one of those where you're like, okay, I wish we would have at least one competitive 7-inning game? Like, what's the thought process on that whole situation for you?
So I know that if I didn't know that Coach was on the pod, I feel like you're pitting us against each other because she's the one that's going to say she wants close games. I'm going to say I'd rather take the run rules. So
JT, I'm also a run rule fan. I was
yeah.
I was thrilled at all the run rules, but it's just
at this stage, I think the biggest thing is you just want to feel like you're putting yourselves in the right position to just compete. And I know that sounds like very big coach speak, but throughout the year, you take each lesson that you learn and you just hold on to it and apply it when you need it. So we've been in the close games. And recently, SEC tournament, but we know that, when we're rolling, it's, and we're in a good mindset that it's, we are really good. So, it's just showing like, hey, this is the sauce that works. Like, let's keep it going. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to just, step into this next weekend and just continue to just compete.
Well, when the selection show happened, that was a lot of fun to watch, by the way. That's the new thing. We love to see everyone's reaction that they're going to play at Oklahoma. But, a lot of people were looking ahead to the possibility of that Alabama matchup. I know you guys don't look ahead. You're focused on the moment. But now that it's here, hosting Alabama, get some payback. You've played them already. What's the feelings going into this one?
Yeah, just giving a different look offensively and just kind of learning from what the takeaways that we did have and knowing just like how to play and what they do and what their pitchers do, what their team does, and what's going to be really important this time around is the OU fans. So we're really excited to see Love's Field just rocking and just using them as that 10th player.
You guys have won 4 national titles in a row, but you lose the series to Bama in a weird way. Are you getting a sense that like your players feel like they have something to prove this weekend?
No. No, we are really focused on just ourselves and like our own things, right? So I think that's a lot of what we hear a lot of is just what they say or what others say. And that's the big thing is like, who is they? Who is like, we're not playing for, other people or that we are just stepping in and just ready to go and just, the whole payback, we're not going to play any different than, it's not like a, like added, excitement or added like you don't have to do anything different. We're already playing really, really well. So, if you're not getting up for a super regional matchup against Alabama, like I don't know what to tell you. Like this is it, So, yeah, it's going to be really exciting, and I know we're a lot of our players are chomping at the bit to just get ready to go.
It's been well documented the all the new faces that you guys have this year, and there's some transfers, there's some young players. So I'm sure you've been busy. Like, who are some of the players that have stood out to you whenever on the offensive side that you've worked with that maybe have had to perhaps remake their whole swing since they got here, or have really taken to the coaching and the advice that you've given?
Yeah, I think really everyone. There comes a point where, like for me, when people come in, I don't try and like change a lot of what people do. I want to add to what they already do well, and so when we have players come in, they're already, from high school or transfers, they're already really good. So to like break them down and start over, and like you have that in you, like your style, your way to hit is unique to like the individual. So we've been trying to add on top of what they already do. And so I think the big thing that you're seeing from a lot of the players right now is the mentality part, where freshmen, everyone can point to freshmen and say like, they're freshmen. How many times have you heard that saying? Or the pressure of OU, or the whatever it is. But that mentality part within everyone is just really, really locked in. I think obviously Ella Parker with her injury situations and stuff like that. Like you have a lot of the returners that are battling through things and just like continue to add to what they do. But I know like Nelly. Just stepping in as a redshirt freshman, being a captain, and just middle of the lineup every day, third baseman, just continuing to be an anchor for us. But just really, there's a lot of players that are. I mean, you look at this past weekend, Ilana Agbayani was just tearing the cover off the ball, and she was hitting them just as hard. Like her homers, those line drive homers, were just as hard hit as some of the long, deep fly balls. So when you have people just 1 through 9 just getting it done, and you have people off the bench getting it done, that you're in a good space. So we're just continuing to just get better every day, because that's what we tell them is like we haven't reached the top, and that's not something that you may feel that you get to, but when you keep pushing towards that, like you keep trying to get better and evolving your game and adding things to your tool belt, then it's going to be really hard to stop you.
What makes Gabby Garcia such a good hitter? Because just seeing her in person, not a large human, and she leads your team in home runs. It's just like such effortless power from her. Like where does that come from? Like what's the reason behind her ability to seemingly just hit above her size, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no. So her mom was All-American, just stud at Arizona State back in the early 2000s. And she has it in her DNA, but she also threw javelin in high school, as a high-level track athlete. So when you're talking about some of those track and some of those events, a lot of the movements carry over to especially hitting, like rotational and when you have external implements and doing stuff like that. So she's always had it, and it's just kind of allowing and giving her the freedom to just like go for it. Because a lot of times people will see someone like her and maybe say, hey, let's go more contact, or let's like bunt, which she can definitely do. But she has real juice, and it's just like she took a minute for her to get comfortable, like displaying that and like just going for it with her swing and just selling out. So I'm really proud of her and her kind of evolution over the court. Like if you go back and watch the battle series to where she's at now, it's like completely different player. So I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, I was wanting to ask you because, in football, we've seen, specifically at the quarterback position, but really all positions, the level of coaching that guys are getting in high school and even before high school, starting at a young age, by the time they get to college, a lot of these players are really polished. And is that the same case in softball? The sport it's been big, but you've really seen an explosion. Are you seeing players more prepared now when they get on campus as freshmen than ever before?
Yeah, so I think this is like a whole youth sports debate, and something that I'm really passionate about is I think players that just the way that and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but the way, and I'm sure you guys have felt this.
Oh,
in
we've got
football.
time, JT.
Okay,
we've got time.
I'm sure you guys have felt this in football, but it's across all sports. Is with the amount of exposure and the amount of just resources being just kind of put into these sports, it's become more of a physical game. So who can run fast, who's the strongest, who can throw, who can hit the hardest, like all these physical traits. But the mental part and the tactical part are missing a ton. So that's like the number one thing that our players that we go through is just the mental part and the tactical part. Because you can build up physicality. You could not think about it, just build up yourself physically in the weight room or through sprints or, whatever, recovery and all that. But there's been more and more of a focus of showcase events and less of play. And that's the one thing. My kids are 8, 7 to I got real young kids, and our big thing is play. And I don't care how you swing or I don't care how you throw it, let's just play. And then you start to see some real good patterns come out. You just let them play and they start to figure these things out. But that's I think the one big thing that I think freshmen, and you're seeing it more so in today's athlete, is they're being more coached up on the tangible side, the physical side, and less on the tactical side. So when you have players that have been trained in that tactical mental side, like Gabby Garcia she's really smart, and she can pick up things really well. You start to see things just exponentially grow. And that's, I think, a huge thing for us is just making them a holistic player, not just hey, you're going to swing good. You're going to be very smart, educated, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to learn how to play and do all these things.
I feel like when we talked to your mom last week, and just with what you said, you guys put a huge emphasis on the mental approach, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How do you do that? What's that without giving out the secret sauce,
yeah.
JT? Don't.
Yeah.
But it's clearly a massive part of what you guys do as a coaching staff. Why is it such a big part of what you do?
Yeah, so I think especially in today's athlete, what you see more and more of is distractions, and you're the phone or social media or just all these different things that are pulling from their attention. It's really hard to get, with the attention span shrinking and everything. It's really hard to get younger players to focus on the things that are really important. So when you're hitting, what's the task? Hit the ball. So anything, if that's the task, that's what you're going to do. Anything that impedes that or anything that steps in the way is taking away from, what matters. So, what I tell our hitters all the time is, do I want you to hit the ball, or do I want you to have the best looking swing? And they're, well, no, we want you to hit the ball. So in that mental spot, it's just really about everyone has it in them to be competitive, I feel like. And it's just getting them to focus on the things that are important and choose to live in that space. And once you see people really buy into that, or players buy into that, they cannot be stopped.
Well, I think that's a good approach. And I know I'm really looking forward to this weekend. A bunch of people are. It's going to be awesome. What have you seen from Alabama? What's dangerous? What do they bring to the table that doesn't scare you, but is going to be a factor?
Yeah, so they are an explosive team. They have a lot of speed. they can pick up a lot of bases, and they do the little things right, and they have a really, really deep, complete staff. So that's the one thing is like, there was a play against Virginia Tech where it's a runner at second, drop third strike, the catcher takes her time, throws it to first, and the runner scores from second. And, you start to build up those little things over the course of the game, and you're looking at 5, 6, 7 runs. So it's just, really about trying to neutralize speed and just defensively playing real well. But I know from an offensive side, just really, staying on top of what their arms are doing, and just really like keeping our strategies or keeping our focus on the things that are going to matter, and just trying to make adjustments as fast as we can.
Last question for you, JT, and I'm going to make you very uncomfortable.
All right, let's go.
And it's unfair. Best hitter you've ever coached?
Jocelyn Allo.
Well, there was no hesitation there.
I mean, because she is the best hitter to ever play college softball. I mean, it was insane. I think what made it a no-brainer was her commitment to just kind of her craft and to her hitting, and the craft and the team. It made everyone else around her better. And so that's when you know that you have people that are special, when they're making others around you better. So that was really cool. And that doesn't mean we've not had some really good, some phenomenal, elite, world-class hitters. But I know like Jocelyn Allo, just the career she had. I think it was her senior, she had like 534 homers. I'm like, this is stupid. It's ridiculous. So yeah, Jocelyn Allo for sure. Unless you think there's somebody else.
No, I just thought it was going to take you like at least a couple seconds to think about it.
He had that one loaded and ready.
He was ready. Well, hey, man, great. You guys have been awesome. Clearly, it's so much fun how invested and into softball the OU fan base is now. Like, I feel like everyone just lives and just breathes this sport in the state now, and you guys have clearly had a massive, massive hand in that. Best of luck this weekend, man. We'll be watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
Oklahoma's favorite pub, Pub W, is a modern American pub offering a great new take on classic drinks and cuisine. They offer an extensive beer and specialty drink selection with something for everyone, and that's exactly why Pub W was voted best happy hour. And we all love a delicious brunch. Pub W brunch is served Saturdays and Sundays until 2 p.m. with some of the most delicious brunch offerings you'll find anywhere. Now open in Yukon, Oklahoma. Visit one of their 6 Oklahoma locations. Visit pubdub.com for locations and menus.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
All right. Time for some football, guys. Talking basketball, FGTB, and the Thunder win game 1 over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 114-88, and didn't love the first half, Ted. That was ugly.
We've had some slow starts lately.
Guys they honestly just looked a little tired. Didn't shoot the ball well either. And when I looked up and they were only down 4 at the half with the way that they had played in that first half, I was like, Minnesota does not have a chance.
Yeah.
I expected the Thunder to find it. And it felt like Minnesota missed a big opportunity to create some separation there. And then the Thunder just got all over them in the second half, outscored them 70-40 in the second half, shot it much better, but it continues to be fueled by that defense, man. It is so much fun to watch. They were just everywhere. They turned it up a level. The intensity, the effort, it was an absolute joy to watch them defensively in that second half.
It was something. We were watching the game together in our living room, and I was telling my son, watch Caruso. This is how you play basketball. Like talking, switching, his hands. Anytime there's a break, jog over, talk to the coach. Someone's on the ground. He's the first one to sprint over, help him up, encourage him. If just watch the way that he moves around throughout the game. It's like, it's so fun to watch. And, that's just him. That everyone else it's rare that you see in the NBA, all five guys 100% locked in and engaged on defense at all times.
It is that what they do defensively. It's what makes them the best team in the league. It's why they had the best record in the league. I don't think anyone in the NBA, certainly none of the three teams left, can match that.
No,
they can't match that. So if the Thunder just shoot the ball decently well the rest of the playoffs, I think they're going to win the NBA title. I do. But there's going to be a game maybe where Minnesota hits 20-something threes and you go, okay, hey, that happens.
I thought it was going to be last night.
They're certainly going to shoot them. Oh, my gosh. What did they shoot, 50-something?
52, I think, 51, 52.
And a whole lot of them were Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid, and Dante DiVincenzo. Those guys came in and they're like, this is our game. We got it, Ant. Don't worry. We're going to keep firing. Which I think a lot of that was by design. Like the Thunder were willing to give that up, but those guys did not shoot it well off the bench.
Yeah, well, the way Julius Randle started, I wasn't sure if he was going to miss one all night. That was crazy. He was burying them from all over the place. He was red hot to start the game. No, but I'm with you. Like, if those guys are going to hoist a bunch of threes, you probably live with that. But if they continue to play with that aggression and intensity on defense, I don't know. I haven't watched a whole lot of NBA. I used to watch a lot more, but it's some of the best defense I've seen. You can't stand there with the basketball. If you get a pass down, like even if it's down to the low block and you hold the ball, it's like a split second before there's another guy there that's pawing at it, trying to rip it out. You cannot let your guard down at all on offense against them. It's wild.
Statistically speaking, it's a historically good defense.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
It looks like mass chaos on every single possession.
And it's what I thought what the Thunder did, especially in the second half defensively, it was the difference in the game. Because I thought Shea was okay. He was much better in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
That first half was about as uncomfortable as he's looked in a long time. He looked tired.
Couldn't make anything. Was missing around the rim, missing foul shots.
It was just the first half was not a good Shea half, but second half he was much better. Now we have to have the conversation. That performance is not going to help him escape the foul baiting accusations.
No, it's not.
And one thing I will say, it's not great, man. And one of the interesting things is like clearly there was a big discourse on social media about it. A lot of people are mad, blah, blah, blah. Like, when it happens in the arena, the fans don't exactly go crazy. It's one of those where it's kind of like we all look at each other like, oh, he's at the line, Now, we always back our guy. He is our MVP. But it's not like all Thunder fans love it too, guys, okay? It's one of those things where everyone just kind of looks at each other and goes, got to the line. It is what it is. Personally, I wish he would cut a large portion of that out of his game. Now, it's not nearly as egregious as some people want to make it sound, but that game in particular, there were some moments where I was just like, oh, man, come on. And I think that's a very fair reaction just as a Thunder fan, but more like as a basketball fan.
It has a strange look to it when you see the way that they play defense, where it's like physical, aggressive, like scrapping, clawing at the ball, and then you go to the other end and it's just boop, down you go. But I guess my question is, why all of the sudden is there Shea's like the latest guy in a list of, I don't know, 100 players over the last decade that have gotten really good at getting whistles. Like, why is there all of a sudden a bunch of hate around Shea with how he plays that?
Because people are finally watching the Thunder. That's the truth. I don't think a bunch of casual basketball fans out there are firing up League Pass and watching the Thunder throughout the regular season, despite us being the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And when you get on this stage and you have some of the moments that he had in game one, people just are outraged.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny part is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is everything you want in a superstar for your organization.
Totally agree.
Great player. Has done everything you could ask on the court. Going to be the MVP. That's getting announced tonight. It's going to be Shai. It's going to be awesome. I've already ordered my son a Thunder jersey number 2 with MVP on the back.
Okay.
Custom. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But he also, family man, got all the endorsements, into that type of stuff, says all the right things, does all the right things. Like, every fan base in the NBA would take Shai. But when it's not your guy and he has some of the moments he has, it's like, oh, I hate watching this guy. No, you don't. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He's great. But there's just no denying. There were a couple rough moments in game one, and it is what it is. That's kind of, I'm over there going,
Right.
He's at the line. He's at the line. But it is funny, like in the stadium, watching Thunder fans' reactions to some of those moments. Everyone just kind of looks at each other, and we all make the same, like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't expect him to change a whole lot with the way that he operates. It's it is what it is at this point, but Minnesota's going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And then I don't know what the deal is with Anthony Edwards and what his health is like, but he definitely was not very aggressive with the basketball in the second half.
I thought that in just being there in person, it was kind of easier to tell. I think that ankle is jacked. And while it may not show up that much in the way that he moves, because he's just such an incredible athlete, like, he's still moving decently well. It's the biggest reason I think that thing is really bothering me. He tweaked it early and went to the locker room, the whole thing. But his demeanor was very different than I'm used to seeing from him.
Mm-hmm.
It was the least like alpha energy. That may sound stupid, but it was like the least alpha energy I've ever seen him have in a game. He wasn't really talking much, just a look on his face, like coming off and on, like coming off the court, coming on the court out of the huddle. Like, I don't know. It seemed like that was bothering him pretty significantly. And I know after the game, he was like, yeah, I couldn't get to the rim because, they're plugging all the gaps. But I thought it was pretty clear that just by watching his demeanor throughout the game, that he's not anywhere near 100%, and that it is what it is. Hey man, it's deep in the playoffs, and that ankle has been an issue for him throughout the playoffs. But I just thought that he settled for a lot of jumpers, and it had a lot to do with him just not having the juice that he normally has.
Yeah, I agree. And
he only took like 13 shots.
Yeah. And I'd like to see how those were distributed throughout the game. I mean, it felt like second half he was turning down a lot of looks that he would typically either put it on the floor and try and get to the rim, or, create some space to hit a longer jumper or a three. So if they don't get him back to closer to 100%, they're going to be in serious trouble.
It's hard to imagine that on 1 day rest, he's going to be like, all right, feels way better. It's typically not how it works, but I'm very interested to see is there a different mentality from him in game 2, because say what you want about the foul baiting with Shea, he was very aggressive with the basketball.
Yeah.
All game long. Even when shots weren't falling in the first half, like he was aggressive with the ball in his hand. Anthony Edwards was not. Anthony Edwards was passive. And Minnesota's just not going to beat the Thunder if Anthony Edwards isn't that dude. They're not.
Right.
You can't rely on DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker threes to beat the Thunder. Like, your guy has to be the guy. And this may sound weird, but like Anthony Edwards did not have main character energy last night during that game.
No, he did not. And he is usually spewing confidence. We were talking about arrogance earlier. That's typically what you see with Anthony Edwards in his game.
I thought Chet was really good in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
About as good of a stretch of basketball as he's played all season long, in my opinion. Just putting the ball in the basket like a big guy, which I loved seeing. Affecting what Minnesota was doing offensively, getting after it on the glass. I thought that was a really, really good stretch from Chet. And I hope that momentum kind of carries into game 2. And then, dude, Kenrich Williams, just what a professional.
Come out and bury it.
Dude hasn't played in the playoffs. And to Dagnall's credit, like, calls on him early, and he comes out and just that is what being a professional, that is the definition of being a professional, is being ready at all times. And his little personal 5-0 run there in the third quarter, like, it gave the building life.
Yeah.
It gave that team juice. Like, and to be able to come out and play effective basketball when you haven't really played any meaningful minutes since the regular season, that is a sign of an ultimate professional. That was awesome.
Yeah. And, I thought the depth that we showed, and like the bench, just a quick little scan through the stats. We were 7 of 12 off the bench from 3. Minnesota was 5 of 29. So the massive discrepancy in what you saw from the bench guys and the efficiency in getting good quality minutes out of those guys.
Cason Wallace was awesome. I mean, that was the thing. It's like Shea had a bigger effect on the game than Anthony Edwards. Now, Julius Randle, kind of a quiet second half. I thought the Thunder made some nice adjustments, and he did, some of the shots just didn't fall for him. But our other guys significantly outplayed their other guys.
Yeah.
And even like Jalen Williams, he didn't have a great night shooting the ball, but I thought his effect on the game defensively, like he had a huge impact on the game. So I just have a tough time seeing how many, like what adjustments are Minnesota going to make to where
hit more threes. That's about it.
That's what it feels like. Get Gobert more involved? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Edwards, he just cannot play the way that he played and expect him. Maybe they can get one game at home, but he's got to, whatever that was last night, like he's got to find more juice.
Yeah. I was going to ask you the minute distribution for Caruso. Is it typical? It felt like he didn't play a whole heck of a lot in the first half.
You have to remember, a couple days ago, Caruso battled Jokic for
it's true
for a long stretch of that game 7. And I think it just shows, like, I think Mark Daigneault is leaning on that depth and going, hey man, we had Caruso empty the tank 2 days ago. Let's pick our spots in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what my read on it was. Now, I'm sure Caruso wants to play every minute of the game. Like he seems like that type of guy, but I thought that they were smart with his minutes in game 1, knowing that the dude basically just went through a 12-round prize fight with Nikola Jokic in game 7, where he was expending an incredible amount of energy. And he's not, in NBA terms, like he's not a young guy anymore. So I actually really liked how Daigneault picked his spots with when he put Caruso out on the floor. And then it allowed Caruso, maybe Caruso knew that coming in the game, and he was like, all right, when I'm in, I can just go crazy like I normally do. And he certainly did.
The way it felt, and I don't know if this is by design or if this is just kind of how it happened, it felt like they almost allowed Minnesota to come out and get comfortable in the game, get to some of their spots and, kind of settle in a little bit. And then it was a blitz in the second half. And it's like, it has like a more profound impact whenever, you play half of the game and you're kind of settled in. And then all of a sudden it's like, what the hell's happening out here? This is chaos. I don't know. I thought it was perfect the way it played out. I don't know if that was planned or just kind of what happened and they were feeding off the arena energy or what, but it was great.
Did it sound quiet on TV?
No.
Okay. I saw several tweets from people like, why? There were a lot of people accusing ESPN of having the crowd mic low. So I don't know, but there was quite a bit of juice in the building. But
now that you mentioned that
ESPN does that for some reason.
Huh.
Like I guess they really want you to hear Doris.
Yeah. Hear
and
Doris
Richard
call
Jefferson.
Shea the foul merchant.
Awesome. Thanks, Doris. Did you see that the Thunder are opening the arena for the rest of the away games?
Oh, I didn't. That's cool.
Yeah, so you can come, like, I'm sure there'll be concessions and stuff like that. And it's free to get in. Come watch it on the Jumbotron. That's kind of cool.
That's
and
cool.
Now, there is simply no way I can allow people to see how I act during those away games. Absolutely not. I will be in my basement. There is no way I can go to the arena and let people see what I say and what I do as I watch a Thunder Road playoff game. It just that cannot happen. I think people would look at me differently.
Here's what I think you should do. I want you to put one of those catapult sports bras on and we can track your GPS throughout your basement as the game is going on to the restroom, it's like nervous energy. You just have to constantly run your route.
I think the best thing to track would be expletives. I think that would be the best indicator of how I act during a Thunder Road playoff game.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thunder Road playoff games, and this was set over a year ago. Guess where I am going to be during Game 3 and Game 4 of the NBA Finals for a work trip for my wife?
Oh boy, where?
New York City.
Ooh, okay.
May have to redirect some of the money in the investment account into my checking account. See what comes available there at Madison Square Garden if that was to if the stars were to line up in that situation.
That if the Knicks make the finals, can you imagine how expensive that ticket is?
I better start imagining because I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
When's it going to happen again, man? You know what I'm saying? When are the Thunder going to play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden in the NBA Finals again? And I'm already going to be in New York City. I mean, I have to do it.
The stars are aligning.
Should I start a GoFundMe for myself?
Yeah.
But it is. I'm just saying. We were looking at our June calendar, and I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna be there. Could be perfect.
All right, so
start exploring some options.
I was already pulling for the Knicks. This reinforces that 100%.
Yeah, I guess I could go to Indianapolis too. Probably be much cheaper.
Probably be much cheaper. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. They got Knicks fever going on right now, which is good. They need it.
Game 2 Thursday night. Feeling good about it.
I do too.
Feeling good about it.
Even though it wasn't, I mean, they still haven't kind of hit their full capabilities, but all good. The way that second half went, I'm pretty confident right now.
We're going to be celebrating the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander MVP award. And my hope is that the way he plays the basketball game is kind of a smaller piece of the conversation coming out of Game 2. That would be my hope.
We'll see.
I'm telling you, everyone just looks around at each other. He's at the line, 2 points. It is, it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of comical because he's not the first player to do that. He ain't going to be the last player to do it. In my opinion, it's pretty common when you watch the NBA, but whatever. Just go win the championship. It doesn't matter.
I do think it's funny. Like, there's some people acting like he's committing war crimes by drawing fouls. Just like, how can he sleep at night? Like, I mean, it's not that bad, dude. Relax.
Right.
I'm thinking when we record Sunday, I don't know. We may be feeling very, very confident at that point. We'll see.
Yeah.
You never know. Adjustments can be made, and maybe Minnesota hits 25 threes. We'll see.
Yeah, they're gonna keep letting them rip. I know that.
Thunder are gonna get Minnesota's best shot Thursday night.
Yep.
See what it looks like.
Yep. I agree.
All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, if you're as passionate about OU sports as we are, now's your chance to make a difference with One Oklahoma. As the official NIL partner of the University of Oklahoma, One Oklahoma plays a crucial role in keeping the Sooners competitive in the SEC. Your subscription goes beyond the revenue sharing cap, directly helping recruit and support the athletes who become Sooner legends. Plus, you'll get access to exclusive events, behind the scenes content, merch, giveaways, and more. Join the team and be the difference maker for your Sooners. Join today at oneoklahoma.com. And 3 things matter in banking: Service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
OU baseball. What a win. Handled business against Kentucky. It was kind of a bullpen day, which you're going to see in these tournaments early on. Try and get a win with the bullpen before you get back to a little more standard rotation. Got some really good innings there. Offense was doing some good stuff. Walk hit a bomb. That was great to see. Taki back in the lineup a little bit. That was good to see. Things are trending in a good direction. Georgia today at 1:00. Going to be a lot of fun watching that one. There could be some spice on this game. They were going back and forth at it pretty good in that series in Georgia. So that was an awesome win, and feel pretty good about where they're at. Most people have them either a 2 or 3 seed, and you beat Georgia and spark like a nice little run here. Maybe you could continue to improve where you end up. So I like where we're at with baseball.
Really, I watched pretty much the entire thing. Really solid stuff from Barfield, right?
Yeah, freshman. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's fair to say his performance of the season.
Yeah, he looked good. There was a couple of plays, defensively where they didn't back him up all that good, and he was a rock. Got out of some trouble. We had a couple of double plays series throughout the game. Defense came back and had a strong finish. So I don't know. I liked it. Got some really good innings from him, and
James Hitt was the combo of Hitt and Barfield. It was just like, why don't we do this more often? These guys look incredible.
I really like Hitt, and your Kyson is Kyson, and Malachi is coming off his best performance and best stuff of the season, and it feels like the pitching is trending in a really good way. And if the bats can back that up and continue to come around, Taki is back to himself. Give us that big left-handed power in the lineup. I'm liking it.
You'd think Georgia was like, please not Oklahoma, because they're going to throw Witherspoon. Please not Oklahoma. Dang it, Oklahoma.
Probably. I don't know that anyone is geared up to see Kyson Witherspoon right now, because his stuff is top notch at the moment.
That game one was, remember that series, game one was the one that OU took. I think it was like 8-6 or something like that. But that was a 7 or 8 strikeout performance for Kyson Witherspoon, and I think he gave up 4 or 5 hits in that game, maybe.
Yeah.
Pitched 7 innings. Like, he was, I mean, they've seen him and they saw a really good version of him, and it feels like he's gone up a level since then.
Yeah.
So I know that game is today, and it will probably already happened after a lot of people listen to this, but it's just, he's become like must-watch OU athletics content for me when he's on the mound.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, and we don't have much left, so enjoy it while it's here.
We'll miss you, Kyson Witherspoon. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
I'm going with the Tush Push situation. I know we've talked about this previously, but it's ramping back up. Owners meeting going on, and the funny part of it is one of the owners said that, well, it's the reason why Jason Kelsey retired is because, the injuries and stuff from the Tush Push, and not so fast. Jason Kelsey's going up there to say, no, that is not why. He's going in support of it. So it's a weird thing. I don't remember anything like this in the NFL previous. Do you, where a specific play that is really with a specific team that there's a push to outlaw?
I think that it's kind of ridiculous that it's going to be outlawed. It feels like it's going to be outlawed, right? I think I saw Diana Rossini put it out there that it seems like that's where this vote is going. And
I don't even know. I'm curious to see what that legislation even looks like.
Is it going to be like you can't push a player in the back? Like, is that going to be the rule?
When there's less than a yard? Or you just can't do it ever now all of a sudden?
I don't know. But it just feels very weak by the rest of the league. It's like, hey, we can't stop this, so let's make it illegal.
Right, yeah.
And didn't they ban the dunk with like Kareem back in the day? That's how it feels. It's like, no, you're too good at this. Stop. Nope. You won't stop? Okay. We're gonna make it against the rules.
Too high percentage of a conversion on the dunk. Nope, not happening. Can't do it. Yeah, it's the biggest reason I think it's pretty Bush League to ban it is all of these rule changes we've seen over the last, let's call it, decade for football. They have all been done under the umbrella of player safety. You can't point to like one guy getting hurt on a tush push play. Mm-mm.
There is nothing to back up anyone saying that it's a dangerous play. There's just the data simply is not there. So really all these owners are coming in and saying, we can't stop this play. We're not good enough to stop it. So let's make it illegal. And that feels, it feels like against the spirit of the game to me in a way.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah. And the game, this isn't the first time there's been something that has become very difficult to stop. And it's how the sport morphs and changes. And there's a lot of, it's trendy, right? And there's things that happen that all of a sudden are good. And everyone's like, boy, we got to figure out a way to stop this. I mean, there's always a lot of things that look, it's just unstoppable, right? You can't stop it. You can't put enough players there. You can't distribute the defense properly. And ultimately, they find a way to stop it and shut it down. And the offense will say, well, that avenue's not open anymore. Let's get creative and find somewhere else. And the trend changes. There's something that's unstoppable. Defense takes a little while to adjust. They finally fix it, and then the offense goes somewhere else. It's just the natural progression of the sport.
You know what's going to be hilarious is when the Philadelphia Eagles have their first 4th and 1 of the season, and Jalen Hurts just gets under center, runs a normal QB sneak, and picks up the first down.
Without a push?
Without the push.
Yeah.
Because their offensive line is massive. They're still going to use the same technique that they used on the tush push on the QB sneak. And Jalen Hurts is big and strong as hell, and he's going to go get the yard, and everyone's going to go, well, at least we banned the tush push. It's like they're just going to run a normal QB sneak at a very similar success percentage as the tush push. Because their guys up front block it better than anyone in the sport, and their quarterback is basically an edge player when it comes to his strength. So
600-pound squat quarterback.
It's I don't think much is going to change. I think they're going to pick up a ton of first downs and a bunch of touchdowns running regular QB sneaks with Jalen Hurts. I could be wrong, but I think this crusade against the tush push isn't going to have the effect a lot of people think. It's like, oh, what are the Eagles going to do in short yardage situations now? No, they're just going to do the exact same thing. Just no one's going to be pushing Hurts in the back, and they're going to pick up 4th and 1 all the time.
Just same but different, and it's strange, and different things appeal to different people. There's no doubt about it, but I mean, I like the thing that they're always trying to do is they want more points, more production, more yards, and this is a really big catalyst for that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's strange. We'll see how it goes.
It's just hilarious. Hey, you're too good at this. We're going to make it against the rules.
Yep.
It feels wrong to me in a weird way. I don't know.
Well,
it's not a football play. It's literally guys running into each other, and the more powerful guys are moving the other guys. It's the football to its core, dude.
It's the ultimate football play.
It's rugby. No, it's pretty much the same thing, man.
For a long time, I mean, this is what the majority of a football game looked like to one degree or another. It was just a mass of bodies in the middle fighting and scrapping for tiny little pieces of real estate.
It's silly, but it sounds like that is going to be banned. So may the tush push rest in peace. Hey, maybe it'll be a shocking vote and it'll get to live.
Maybe Jason Kelce will have enough to as a lobbyist to change opinions.
If anyone can do it, it's that man.
That's right.
I don't know if it was Jason Kelce or not, Ted, but a quick update. The vote happened while we were recording. The tush push lives.
Tush push lives. Jason Kelce went in and scared everyone, I guess. Who knows how that went, but it lives on at least for now. I mean, who knows after Philly converts another 50 or 60 tush pushes, maybe we'll have this same thing go on next year.
I am glad that it is living. We complained a lot about classic case of podcasting right there, by the way, but it was going to feel wrong if these owners voted to ban it. And I'm just glad that enough of these owners came to their senses and did the right thing. The tush push lives.
Moment of silence for defensive linemen and linebackers around the league. Sorry, guys.
Final vote, 22-10.
Not even close.
Needed 24 votes to ban the tush push. Only got 22.
Oh, I guess it was close.
So maybe if they go win another Super Bowl, that thing's getting banned next season.
I was thinking 22-10 in favor to keep it, not 22 to get rid of it. Wow. Maybe there was like a backdoor pact. We won't run it against you guys if you vote with us.
I don't know. Bills or Hard Knocks this year. That's awesome.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. NFC East will be in-season Hard Knocks. Also, the NFL is going to do a Protector of the Year award for an offensive lineman. So basically like Offensive Lineman of the Year. That is awesome.
That's cool. I like that. Go get it, Creed.
I think Creed, I haven't seen the betting numbers yet, but I think Creed will be on the board. Lane will be way up there on the betting odds.
Oh, yeah.
Trent Williams as well. Just got to have
like
Big
that.
Trent stay healthy, and he'll be. So there'll be a lot of Sooners up for that. I'm hoping. So that's awesome.
Let's keep the train rolling.
We complain so much only for it to survive. But hey, so goes podcasting.
That's right.
All right, let's get to buy winner and loser. But first, Huel Black Edition Ready to Drink is a meal in a bottle. One bottle contains 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and is low in sugar. Go to Huel.com, that's Huel.com, and use code OKBreakdown for 15% off plus a free gift for new customers. Huel is a perfectly balanced meal designed by nutrition experts and takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. Huel has great flavor options like vanilla chocolate and iced coffee, but this one right here, strawberry or banana, that's my favorite. Love drinking one of these in between lunch and dinner. Keeps me from reaching for a less healthy option at the house. Kind of gets me to dinner the way I need to get there, and it gets me the extra protein in my diet that I want. Also, if you're a morning like iced coffee drinker, the iced coffee flavor is really good, and it's got caffeine in it. So if you're having to get stuff together with the kids, you're in a hurry, reach for that iced coffee flavor for Huel. You can't beat the convenience of cracking open a bottle of Huel and getting a meal in. Go order this nutritious product at Huel.com and use our code OKBreakdown for 15% off plus a free gift for new customers. That is Huel.com, Huel.com, and use code OKBreakdown. Get your fuel with Huel. For my winner of the week, thought about going hockey, thought about going with the Florida Panthers. Whew. Going to the other team's house, game one of the conference finals, and you beat them 5-2. That'll do.
Well, you like that. Yeah.
Jumped all over them. And there was a little stretch of the game, right? They're up 2-0 in the first period. But right before the first period ends, Carolina gets on the board 2-1. Okay, we got momentum, maybe. Second period, Panthers said, no, you don't. Boom, here's another goal, 3-1. And at that point, you're like, okay, I think Florida's got them tonight.
Yep.
So it was an impressive performance by the Florida Panthers, and man, they look good. But my winner of the week, flag football, specifically United States of America flag football, because on Tuesday, the NFL passed a proposal that will permit NFL players to represent the red, white, and blue in flag football in the 2028 Olympics. World.
Yeah, incredible.
Good luck.
I kind of laughed whenever I saw that the NFL passed the proposal that'll permit the guys to play, because I'm pretty sure it was probably the NFL that created this whole movement. I mean, they've been desperate to expand their footprint. I mean, they've played games in England, Germany, Mexico, Brazil. I think wasn't there a game in Brazil last year?
Yep. They've
tapped out the local market. Okay. You're not going to squeeze any more out of the from the NFL out of the United States. Everyone that's in at this point is in. So in order to drive that revenue up, they got to expand the footprint, and there's really no better way to do that than the Olympics. I'm just worried, that team from Uruguay is probably going to be really good. Macedonia is probably going to be really solid at flag football. I mean, we've got our work cut out for us.
I do find it rather amusing. There's a small faction of people that are like, hey, these NFL players, they don't realize, 7-on-7 is a different game, man. Like, really?
Well, I will say that I've watched a professional flag football game, and it is different. Like, the main thing that's different is how incredible the guys are at keeping people from pulling their flags. Like, you can't guard it, but like the way they move and they'll run backwards, and it's incredibly impressive.
I completely agree. There's no doubt there's a skill to that, but give me Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. I will take those two guys over the guys we've had in the pipeline for flag football. I'm just
all day.
Come on. Come on. And I love it.
Picking who you're going to have on the team. That's going to be the real problem.
Who we running out at quarterback?
I mean, I know who will probably run out at quarterback, but I think if I had my pick, Joe Burrow.
I I think it is absolutely necessary that the world has to deal with Lamar Jackson on a flag football field.
See, that was one of the considerations was like Lamar Jackson or Jay. Remember, this is 28, so
That's
Jay
true.
Daniels,
Ooh, yeah, it could be. It's a couple years down the road. Yeah, Jaden Daniels would be pretty fun.
I'm not sure what the rules are for like quarterback mobility and running around, like what all
Not
you
going to
can
pretend
do.
like we know. I know the international flag football
I'll have
rules.
to brush up. I'll have to brush up
How
on some
much
of it,
QB run game can you have?
but it's gonna be crazy fun to watch.
It's probably going to be Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
He'll still be, but if he wants to do it. And that's the thing is I think all of these NFL guys are going to want to do it.
That's what it sounded like right now.
When
Yeah, you get to like take your skills on the world stage, and I mean, these guys are huge in the United States, but whenever you look at like how big like some of like the best soccer players in the world and like their followings are, I mean, exponentially larger than NFL football guys, and this could change that stuff for them in a huge way.
there is not risk in this for those guys though,
Timing wise, it's literally right before the season.
right before camp.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking necessarily like an injury risk. If you're the NFL players and you go out there and you get beat,
Oh yeah. Yep.
whoa. Yeah, I mean, it would be an all-time what have you done
I mean,
situation.
it's one thing, it took a while for the world to catch up in basketball, but it happened in a big way. Now we won gold in the last Olympics, but I don't think there's any doubt that the impact the 92 Dream Team had on the sport of basketball internationally, I don't know that you could really compare it to anything else. This has the same chance, I think it's probably like a niche sport around the world. You probably have some of it loosely organized, and I this is going to be like a, oh my god, no wonder they're not good at soccer. Those their players are doing this, and I think it has a chance to. And I know there's been some like Germany, American football is big in Germany, and there's some pockets where it's uh, Japan, even Mexico. I saw like the Mexico College National Championship a while back, and I had no idea that they even did it. But I think this single event, the 28 Olympics, is finally going to take American football to the rest of the world. And it will probably, I mean, it'll be a lot of people in the world first time ever seeing it to some degree.
Hope we have some Sooners on the squad. CeeDee Lamb,
Yes.
Kyler
Well,
Murray would be a whole lot of
that's what
fun.
I was about to say. As soon as I thought about it, I was like,
We need
oh
to figure
my
out the rules
God.
because I don't
Woo!
think there's many people on the planet that are gonna be able to get his flags. But this is my number one question about this. It's 7-on-7, correct?
I think
Someone has to snap the ball. Creed Humphrey, Olympian.
gold medal to go with the Super Bowl rings.
He's the best center in football. If
Everyone would be like, why is there a shot putter getting a gold medal in flag football? What is happening right now? Who is that guy?
I'm just saying, someone has to snap the ball. And I believe the best center in all of football has earned that honor. And
Yeah.
that is Creed Humphrey.
And I don't know if that is the center in the play at all? Like how
we don't know. I think we've made it very clear we do not know the rules.
Talk about this for a long time about, well, can you do this? I don't know. Well, what about that? No.
Completely different conversation if the center is eligible. No offense, Creed. You're a great athlete. But I'm just saying, if there is simply a role where you snap the ball to the quarterback, Creed Humphrey should be that guy.
Of course.
Creed Humphrey, Olympian. That's what I want to see. Just saying.
Just as a representation of the other part of the sport when it's played at full, right?
Yes. Yes. I, once again, don't know the rules at all. Saquon Barkley, obvious pick. But it is going to be really interesting to see how many of these guys, like who signs up.
I think everyone's going to sign up. And
I think it's going to be like very, very competitive to end up on the team, which is cool. Like, I want those tryouts televised. I don't know what that's going to look like. Like I want all of how the 2028 United States flag football team gets assembled. I want all of that content. I will consume it all.
I want the whole thing, Netflix style documentary from like the very beginning of whoever's in charge, like who's going to coach it, because that's another thing is like
who has the best route concepts for flag football.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how easy of a translation it is. I mean, you're going to play basketball in the Olympics. Well, I mean, you just go pick, whatever great coach you want out there. Is that the same with flag, or do they have a flag specific? Who's the Bill Belichick of flag football?
This is what I know about us. We've got a lot of questions and not many answers about flag football. We do
have time, though. We do have time.
We'll learn. We'll learn it. I'll get back to that. Are we sure we want to find, with everything that's going on with Belichick currently, congratulations on the engagement? Maybe. I'm not sure. Like, are we sure we're going after the Belichick? We may. I feel like if I got to pick the coach for the flag football team, I think it should be one or two guys, like Andy Reid, just because of what they've done. But I think Sean McVay, like in the energy he brings, like that'd be a lot of fun that'd be a nice addition to the Olympics.
Which John Gruden.
Oh, yes. He can unbox college gear in between games and film it. His OU one was so good.
Look at this, huh? France sending a box of gear from France. Yeah, everyone
baguettes, Bordeaux. Like you just Eiffel Tower. Just ripping off like random sayings, random names. Zinedine Zidane. Like it would be great.
That would be he's the go-to, I think. That's awesome.
That would be, I absolutely love that idea.
Can you run Spider 2Y banana in flag football?
You can run Spider 2Y banana on any football field out there, buddy.
Rite of passage.
No doubt. All right, my loser of the week. The University of Southern California, also known as USC.
Okay.
USC and Notre Dame have played 95 times since 1924. I think they've missed 4 games, 4 matchups, 3 because of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't play in 2020, the COVID year. They are currently in their last year of their scheduling contract. Notre Dame's leadership has made it very clear they would like to sign a long-term scheduling agreement with Southern Cal. And Southern Cal has not said the same thing. They're like, yeah, we'll sign a 1-year agreement. And whether it's fair or not, Ted, a lot of people are blaming Lincoln Riley and saying that he is scared to play good teams. And some people happen to be bringing up that he may or may not have avoided going to the SEC as Oklahoma's coach.
avoided the SEC, backed out of the Louisiana State non-conference situation. He's got some comments that track with that, but you just don't know if he's echoing the sentiment coming from the top down, or if he's the one in there lobbying for it.
You know what I'm not buying? They came out and said, yeah, we only want to do a 1-year agreement because we don't know what the college football playoff is going to look like. Everyone knows the college football playoff field is getting bigger. We all know the CFP is going to expand. Now, how many automatic bids for the Big Ten and the SEC? We'll see. But the Big Ten and the SEC have all the power in this entire thing. So I'm not buying USC's, we don't really know what that's going to look like, so we don't want to sign anything long term. That's just an excuse. Because they're going to have a great opportunity as a member of the Big Ten to make the college football playoff each and every year.
Well, I mean, you played them in the BCS era where only 2 teams could make it.
Correct.
You played them in the 4-team playoff era. You played them in the 12-team playoff era. What scenario would be so drastic that you feel like you need to eliminate that game? And they're in the Big Ten now. I looked at their schedule. Their schedule is completely manageable currently. I mean, it's not even close to some of the schedules that you get in like the SEC and in some other places. So it's a weird deal. And I guess it could be just a negotiating tactic to try and sweeten the pot. I don't know how that's broken down because Notre Dame has kind of their own TV deal. Is it CBS, right? Is that who theirs is with?
NBC.
So they've got kind of their own deal. I don't know what the breakdown of that is, but
I know this. The Big Ten wants USC playing Notre Dame.
All the networks do.
Duh.
The whole push and everything right now is more premium matchups and less lower tier matchups. At a minimum, like maybe it's a negotiating tactic and they end up getting a long-term deal done, but it's currently a very bad look whenever they need some good, positive, propaganda out there around USC. So it's weird.
Has any coach's reputation changed more over the last 4 years than Lincoln Riley's? The dude
Mel
was
Tucker, that's it.
Yeah. Fair point. The dude was undoubtedly a top 5 coach. Like if you asked anyone that covered college football,
had pretty much any opportunity wanted, college and pro.
And now, like the two main talking points are he doesn't want to play good teams and he hasn't won enough games.
I know.
Things can change quickly, man. I know that, they're recruiting. They got a good recruiting class going right now. They clearly need to recruit better. They need better players, but usually big time players want to play games like USC Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If I was a big time recruit, I would want to play that game. So it's just not a good look for USC, and it's not a good look for Lincoln Riley. And somehow they have made Notre Dame likable in this situation, which is dumbfounding.
I mean, it's the easiest decision in the world. What's better for our brand? Playing Notre Dame in what is always a great game aesthetically and the build up to it, or, let's play Fresno State instead.
People, and this is athletic directors, coaches, like people need to move on from the like, hey, we got to win 12 games mentality.
Totally.
This is going to be a mini NFL. Everyone's going to lose games because the schedules are going to be really, really difficult. So don't run away from the great non-conference games. Just embrace what it is going to be. And USC is going to be in the most advantageous position in all of college football as a member of the Big Ten. The Big Ten and the SEC, like, those teams are going to have every opportunity to make the college football playoff and play for a national title. Just don't be scared to play Notre Dame. Don't make Notre Dame likable, where Notre Dame's leadership is coming out and saying, we want to play the game. They're scared. That's basically what they're saying, just in a nice way.
And think about, like, no matter what, the Big Ten schools are probably going to be in a better position to make the playoff than Notre Dame is. You know, I haven't heard anything about.
Yeah, Notre Dame is taking way more risk.
That's what I was saying.
Playing USC.
Way more. It's not even close. I mean, the talk right now, and I don't know if it ends up there, but 4 automatic bids for the SEC and the Big Ten. Maybe it doesn't end at 4. And maybe they settle on 3, but still, if there's any automatic bids, it means right away that your non-conference basically doesn't matter, or matters way less than it does currently.
Whole thing makes Notre Dame look good, makes USC look bad.
At the wrong time for USC to look bad.
Correct. We've only got one birthday shout out, and that is for Randy Davis, who is celebrating his 70th birthday. The big 7-0 for Randy Davis, Ted.
Happy birthday, Randy.
On that note, episode 529 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.